Hi, and welcome to FPL First, giving you the latest news, reviews, and social views on everything EPL and FPL. We are nearly into Gameweek 4, and deadline day is just around the corner. So what adjustments should you make to your team? And the big question is, who should be your Gameweek 4 captain pick? In this episode, it is all coming up. So welcome back to all of the FPL First community to another Game Week preview episode, and if you are new here, this channel provides FPL previews, reviews and tips on informed players, potential transfers and much more. So if this interests you, why not consider subscribing to stay up to date with all the new content being released on a regular basis. To get things started, let's take a look at the EPL Round 4 fixtures, whereby we open the weekend up with Liverpool looking to make it 4 wins out of 4. However, despite this, Leicester manager Claude Puel boasts only 1 defeat in 7 games against the Reds, when with Lyon, Southampton and Leicester combined. However, the fact that Vardy will miss the game due to suspension after a shred red card means that the tie will likely favour the Reds. Nonetheless, it will be a very interesting fixture to watch. Outside of Liverpool, the only other team that will be looking to make it a 100% perfect start is Chelsea, who host a formidable Bournemouth, who currently lie in 6th place after 2 wins and a draw to start their campaign. However, Sarri has adapted quickly to the EPL and therefore will likely be victorious come the final whistle. To add onto this, Hazard looks like he'll be starting again, so it could be a very easy win in the end if he is on form alongside his teammates. Lastly, the champions will be looking to return with a win, and with the late kick-off against Newcastle, it will be an interesting game to see if all the City players are back to their scintillating form seen in round 1 and 2. West Ham and Huddersfield will still be looking for their first win, but with top opposition from Everton and Wolves, it might still have to wait for round 5. Moving on to Sunday, and Arsenal and Spurs will be looking to make it another win this week. But with Cardiff away, Arsenal will still have a tough defence that they will need to break down in order to get their win, with their North London rivals travelling to an unbeaten Watford side who might provide a serious opposition and thus could provide a very interesting game indeed. Man United, on the other hand, will be looking to make it only their 2nd win in 4 attempts, something almost unheard of with a club like Man United, so it will be interesting to see their reaction to a poor last 2 games when they face a Burnley side yet to win this EPL season. My game to focus on this weekend sits with not necessarily the best game, but one whereby the most expectation lies, especially to FPL managers. With a draw against newly promoted Wolves last week, many EPL and FPL fans will be keen to see what kind of return to form Man City can have when they host Newcastle at the Etihad Stadium on the late night fixture on Saturday. In particular, considering that Aguero, Mendy and Ederson all feature in over 20% of all FPL teams, with Aguero nearly 50% alone, this week, big points are clearly expected on the team, and of course much of this lies on these 3 players for goals, assists and clean sheets to help boost FPL managers' points this game week. Looking at the stats, the contest looks almost a foregone conclusion, but stranger things have happened in the EPL. Aguero is obviously City's key man, with him scoring 14 goals against Newcastle, with most of this coming in the prior 2 games. But I have also highlighted Kennedy for Newcastle due to his brilliance 1 minute and absolute recklessness at other times. He's always good for 1 bit of magic, as well as a 2-footed red card challenge, so it will be interesting to see what kind of Kennedy we get in the game. Nonetheless, I believe that Aguero and him could have a big contribution on the whole game. So moving on to that time of the week again, where I give my kind of opinion on what I believe should be the captain of the week. Obviously, there's a lot of varied opinions out on social media right now, but this is my view. The player I had so much faith in last week is Arsenal's Aubameyang, but he once again failed to deliver in a game, and there is an argument being made that this week is the week for him to get his goals. However, this does not make him a good captain choice, as there is too much uncertainty surrounding Arsenal in their away performances, as well as whether Aubameyang can grab his first goal or not. Also, Cardiff has a very good home record, so I don't think that this would be a good time to make him your captain. My second potential pick for captain is Kane. He has scored 2 goals in the last 2 games for Spurs, but with an away trip to Watford could prove a tougher proposition than Man United. Yes, I said it, Man United. Man United's defence was shambolic against Tottenham, especially considering they had a midfielder in Herrera as a central defender. And therefore, a well-organised Watford side should prove a harder task for Kane. So again, I don't recommend him as captain this week. Two players in Liverpool, being Mane and Salah, are potential captain picks this week, and they are both very good options, to be fair to them. And obviously, Salah will probably be the person that most people will pick above Mane, especially considering he got 3 goals against Leicester last season. However, despite these two players being really good options this week, my captain and my personal opinion goes to Man City's Sergio Aguero. Yes, Salah's stats do look very good, but actually Aguero's look better. The last time I swapped to Aguero, he scored a hat-trick, and with him playing Newcastle this week at home, the omens are looking good for the informed Man City striker. Furthermore, this fixture last year, Aguero scored a hat-trick at the Etihad, as well as stacking up 20 points in his last home game. Therefore, my choice of captain this week is Sergio Aguero. But another question you may be asking is whether he should be triple captain. Well, although it is really tempting, I would advise to wait for a double week in the EPL. It will come around the middle to end when the fixtures are congested and also when the players are supposed to be in peak form, so I personally will wait till then. However, if you go for the triple captain this week, then good luck to you. Moving on to my player lookout for game week 4, it's Chelsea's talisman, Eden Hazard. The Blues man has an impressive record against Bournemouth, scoring 5 times in the last 5 appearances against them, and is set to face the Cherries in fine form. Having only played 1 full game and 2 cameo sub-appearances so far, the winger has already got 16 points and looks firing to go in the EPL. And with a selection of just 14.7% in FPL, he could be an underdog selection for your team if he performs as well as he can. Furthermore, Hazard as well as Mohamed Salah are the only 2 players that have assisted or scored in all the first 3 EPL games. But when you consider Salah has played 266 minutes and Hazard half that with 133 minutes, it looks better for Hazard. Keep an eye on him, he could be the best kept secret of the EPL and FPL so far. Next, looking at the transfers in. With the red card from Richarlison and his ridiculous headbutt in the last game, the main transfers in have been his replacements, and it's looking like Walcott or Moura are the most popular options as his replacements. For a more detailed explanation as to why these 2 players could be a very good pick instead of Richarlison, check out the video in the card which is above right now. Mitrovic is also on this list for an impressive game week 3. He was the highest scoring player, however I'm not sure that he's going to be getting so many points this game week, so I'm not sure if that's a good move to transfer him in or not. And Alonso is also on the list because he's becoming a must for all FPL managers these days, being very consistent in his point scoring. In contrast, the main transfers out this week is obviously Richarlison being the top of this by a very long way. This is obviously for the reason that he got that red card, and there aren't any other real players that stand out for the fact that they're getting transferred out apart from Richarlison, so it's pretty obvious as to this list. Next, I want to talk about the fact that today is the transfer deadline day for all the other European clubs. It's easy for us to forget as our deadline day was nearly 2 weeks ago, but does it mean that the move of Pogba to Barcelona can still happen? Well, according to the Metro paper in the UK, Barcelona are still confident of the move with the player, but not till the next summer transfer window. So for now, it seems that Pogba will remain in the FPL and EPL, and it seems that Man United will keep the player for the foreseeable future. This is obviously great news for the EPL because we are now maintaining to keep a World Cup winner in the league, which can only ever be a good thing. Next, moving on to my predictions for the games this week, and they are on screen now. It feels like a fairly predictable week for the big and the smaller sides in the EPL, however I feel like the battles of the weekend are going to be seen in the mid-table clashes. There could be some very interesting games, and it will be a little bit hard to predict these sort of mid-table clashes, but it will be interesting to see which teams come out on top in the end. And to wrap up this episode, I will go with this week's betting prediction. So I actually love to bet on weird markets, so expect from now on that there will be more weird combinations, especially now that there's more data available going into game week 4. So this week's bet is over 9 corners in the Liverpool, Man City and Crystal Palace game, over 8 corners in the Arsenal game, and lastly Everton to win at home. So if you take a look at the stats on screen right now, we can see that Man City currently have the total amount of corners with 12.67 average, and also Liverpool comes second. If you look at the Liverpool 4, they have slightly better 4, but if we look at their opponents this week in Leicester have conceded 7 corners on average in most games. So what this means is that Liverpool have a very good opportunity to get many corners in this game, so therefore that's why I selected them. Man City is for obvious reasons. They're a very attacking team, they love their wing backs to get forward, and I think they're going to be all over Newcastle, who are going to be defending for their lives, so I think they'll be conceding a lot of corners. Next, the reason I went for Crystal Palace is because, as you can see there, they're averaging over 10.5 corners per game, and I think because they're playing Southampton, who also have 11 corners average, this could be a high-scoring corners game. And lastly, if we look at Cardiff, they're third in the list. Yes, Arsenal are quite low with only 8.67, but I think that because Arsenal will be attacking down their fullbacks again this week, that Cardiff will be conceding a lot of corners. So I believe that game also will be over 8 corners, slightly less than the other 3 games, just for the reason that Arsenal have less corners in the statistics. Also, despite Everton losing Richarlison this week, they are still undefeated in the EPL, and they face a Huddersfield side yet to find a win. If Everton can keep their discipline and not get a red card, then I expect a comfortable home win, especially if players like Theo Walcott are on their game. Alright, so this is the end of the episode, so a massive thanks for watching till now. If you want more content like this, there will be links to other videos now. And as always, if you are new, make sure to click that subscribe button in the middle of those videos for future content, including all the EPL highlights and EPL and FPL roundup on Monday. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, the link will be in the description below. And also, if you like this video, please give me a massive thumbs up to help the channel. My name is Joe, and this has been for FPL First.